Hello everyone. Today we are here with the chapter number 5, pollination and fertilization. In this chapter we will be discussing these two topics in details regarding how the pollination process is done, various aspects related to it, and followed by that we will be discussing the next process that comes up is fertilization. So today we'll begin with the pollination, how it is done. In the previous chapters we have already discussed about the structure of the flower, and it is containing different four important whorls are there in which we can divide the flower into, and out of those two important are there that are called as essential whorls. They are the reproductive structure, the male part called the andrecium, the female part is called as the gynoecium. So that is what we have already seen in the previous chapters, and today now we will discuss how these reproductive structures are responsible for the reproduction to take place in the various plant species. So the reproduction begins with the pollination. For the reproduction to take place, the male gamete, that is called as the pollen grains with regard to the plants, it has to be transferred to the female sex organ or the female reproductive structure in the flower. That is, we have seen the gynoecium. So from the andrecium, the male organ, pollen grains are released, and those pollen grains have to be transferred to the female organ, that is the gynoecium. This transferring of these pollen grains or the male gametes only is called as the fertilization. So that is what is given here about pollination. So the stamens, that is the male organ of the flower, they will have the anthers. On the stamen only anther are present, and these anther produce certain powdered material called as the pollen or the pollen grains. So what is present exactly inside this pollen grain is each and every pollen grain contain two sperm nuclei, which we can also call as the male nuclei. This is the male reproductive cell or the male sex cell, which is important for the fertilization or in the subsequent reproduction process to take place. So this pollen grain which contain these sperm nuclei only have to be transferred. They have to participate in the reproduction process, and to initiate this process only for initiating the formation of the fruit and ultimately the seeds and so on, the continuity of the plant species is dependent on the process of pollination only. If pollination does not take place, then reproduction of the plants will stop. No new plant species will be formed there. So that is why this is a basic, or we can say the most important step for the initiation of the reproduction of the particular plant species. So what is pollination? If we go through the definition, first we will go through the definition that is given on this part. It is the process of the transfer of the pollen grains. Yes, exact word is, it is transferring. Just it is the transfer. It is not about the reproduction to take place, that we will see in the later part about fertilization. It is involved there. This is just the transfer only. The pollen grains will transfer from the anther to the stigma. Anther is present on the, and on where it is present on the andrecium. Let me write here, anther is present on andrecium, that is the male part. So that is andrecium, and stigma is where? Stigma is present on the gynoecium, that is the female part. So from the male reproductive organ to the female reproductive organ, the pollen grain have to be transferred, and this process of doing so is called as pollination. So that is the definition and the concept of pollination. I hope it is clear to you. And if we classify this pollination, we can have this pollination in three different manners. So that is what is given here. This may happen in three principal ways. We will also refer to the figure. First, let us go through this, what is given here. First possibility or first scenario of pollination is there, that the pollen grain of the same flower may fall in the stigma by itself. Means in the same flower both the structures may be there. Same flower may have the andrecium as well as the gynoecium, and the andrecium of that same flower releases the pollen grain, and that pollen grain fall down in the same flower itself, and fertilization and so on process continues. So if the pollination takes place in the same flower, this process is called as autogamy. That is, in exact meaning of this word is self-marriage. That is, autogamy means pollination has been done of the same flower by itself. Second scenario of pollination is the pollen of another flower has come, but another flower is also on the same plant. Means the plant body has not changed. Different flowers may be there on, multiple flowers may be there on the same plant body. So on the same plant body, or if the anther and the stigma are having this pollination, then it is called as what? It is given a particular term. It is called as geitonogamy. Geitonogamy is the meaning of this geiton is neighboring, means just the neighboring flower is getting pollinated. So that is what is called as geitonogamy. You have to take a note of these terms. These we can ask, what is geitonogamy, what is autogamy, and third term is coming here is allogamy. This allogamy or allogamy you can pronounce. Generally it is actually allogamy. So allogamy is what? In this case, the flower of another plant is pollinating of the same species only. The plant species should be same. It will not be like rose flower is pollinating sunflower. It will never happen. So a same species plant only will pollinate itself. So but here what is happening? The flowers are of different plants. Both the plants are also different. So let us come to the diagram for more clarity. This is the figure that they have given. First case is self pollination. So same flower itself pollinate itself, that is autogamy. Case is what? From one flower to another flower pollen grain is going, but both the flowers are on the same plant, that is geitonogamy. Third case is what? The flower are located on different plant bodies, that is from one flower the pollen grain moved to the another flower and both the flowers are present on different plant bodies, then it is called as cross pollination, or we can say it is allogamy. So what we have done just now, we have seen the different scenario of pollination, and based on this only we classify the pollination into two types. First one is called as self pollination, and the second type of pollination is called as the cross pollination. So this is what is generally happening in the pollination. So don't forget these terms: autogamy, geitonogamy, and allogamy. Autogamy and geitonogamy are what? They are only self pollination, and allogamy relates to cross pollination. So that is all. Next topic that comes here is pollination must occur between the plant of the same species only. As I already have told you, pollination will not take place between different species of the plant. It may be there that pollen grains are released openly in the air and they may land on another species. For example, just for an example only, rose flower will release its pollen grains and it will release in the open air. Now it is not sure that these pollen grains will go on another plant which is also of the rose flower only. It may go on something else. It may go on wheat, it may go on rice, it may go on another flowers like jasmine or sunflower or something. So there is a very less possibility that the pollen grains of one particular plant species will go on another plant that is of the same type. So that is why it is a very less probability only is there of the pollination to take place. And to ensure this only what is happening is the pollen grains are released in large quantities. See this part, you can just go through this, you can just read through. We are not going to the reading part. Same explanation only is given here, so I hope you can read and understand. So what is the point important that only I will highlight in this reading? So only the pollens of the same species of the plant will survive. Other pollen grains which are of the other plant species, they will all what do? They will all simply wither away. They will all die. They will not germinate. They will not give any flower. So suppose rose has given the pollen grains, it moves to the jasmine flower. So those pollen grains will not germinate. They will not give any flower. Simply they will be wasted away. They will get perished. They will not be useful. So that is the point you have to remember. Pollen grains, whenever they are getting pollinated and subsequent development that is fertilization and so on, that will only take place when the plant species are of the same type. Okay, so now let us come to the next important point, that is kinds of the pollination. Already we have seen self as well as the cross pollination. So now we will be discussing self pollination in detail. What this self pollination is? So obviously we have seen already, it is autogamy, means same flower pollinating itself, or another flower if it is pollinating that is also on the same plant, that is geitonogamy. So if autogamy or geitonogamy is going on, it is self pollination only. And where it is going on? It is generally happening in the bisexual flowers, and certain flowers are having both androecium and gynoecium on the same flower itself. So certain bisexual flowers are there which do not open at all. If the flower will not open, how the pollen grains will come out? There is almost no probability, no chances there that pollen grains will move to another flower because the flower is not open. So in this case, what will happen? Self pollination will take place, especially in the bisexual flower it happens. So in the bisexual flower, what is happening? The anther and the stigma both remain hidden and lie close to each other, and hence they facilitate what? They facilitate self-pollination. So in this case, nothing else is required, means no pollinating agents are required. Generally, pollinating agents are required, like wind is required, water may be required, or insect may be required. These are the three pollinating agents which are generally useful in carrying the pollen grains from one area to other. But now in the self pollination, nothing is required, because the pollen grains do not have to go to another flower. So in this case, no external agents or pollinating agents are required. Examples you can learn like pea and pansy. These type of flowers which are having self pollination, they are called as cleistogamous flowers. Remember, and to underline and mark these terms, these terms can be asked. So such type of flowers which are having self pollination are called as cleistogamous flowers. So there are certain scenarios which are given here now for self pollination. One we have just now already discussed, that is bisexuality. So I will not just repeat that again. If both male and female organs are on the same flower, then self pollination will take place. Second point, let us read here, that is homogamy. Homogamy is meaning what? It means the anther as well as the stigma, the male as well as the female organ of the flower is maturing at the same time. Yes, this is important. Sometimes what is happening, the bisexual flower is there, it is having both the male and the female reproductive organ, but both are not matured at the same time, both are not active for the reproduction process at the same time, then self pollination may not take place. But in homogamy, what is happening, both anther as well as the stigma mature at the same time. Such scenario is called as homogamy. So if homogamy is there, then self pollination will take place. And second thing is what? If bisexuality is there, then also self pollination will take place. Homogamy is actually a sub point of this. If the flower is bisexual, then only homogamy can be there. So that is two conditions are there which are responsible for self pollination. Now we'll move to the next point. Regarding self pollination, we are having advantages as well as disadvantages. Everything has its plus and minus points. Let us see the advantages first. So first advantage is there, it is sure to take place. The pollination is sure to take place in case of the self pollination, because there is a very low chance of the pollen grains getting wasted. As I have already told you in the earlier part, in this part is, if the wind is blowing away and pollen grains are moving here and there, they may land somewhere, they may even simply go waste. So that is what I said, a large number of pollen grains are released. अगर pollen grains wind में blow कर रहे हैं, they may go anywhere. There is no chance of there is almost very little chance of getting them landed on the exact plant species which is required for pollination. So in that case, pollination chances are very less. But in self pollination, no need of such kind of processes to take place. In the same flower only pollination is taking place, therefore it is very sure that pollination will take place, and we can say there is no wastage of the pollen grains also. So that is given in the third point already, there is no wastage of pollen grains. Even a small quantity of pollen grains will suffice, means it will work. Second point, now because of the self pollination, only parental characters are preserved. There is no variation that is coming. Same plant is pollinating itself, so same type of flowers will keep on germinating again and again. New flowers which are coming, they will be of the same type only. This will lead to disadvantage. We will see in the disadvantages point. The flowers need to be large and showy. Generally the flowers are large, bright colored, very beautiful looking, but in self pollinating flowers, they are very small flowers, they are not very beautiful flowers. These type of flowers are not large and showy. Why is it so? Because the main purpose of the flowers becoming large and brightly colored is to attract the insects. The flowers look beautiful so that the insects can get attracted and come and sit on them, and when the insects will sit on them, their pollen grains will be transferred to other plants, other flowers, because insect is sitting from one flower to another flower to another. So when the insect is moving here and there, it is transferring the pollen grains also in its legs. In the legs of the insects, the pollen grains get stuck there, and thus the pollen grains are transferred using the insects. In this case of the self pollination, insects are not required. There is no need to attract the insects, because there is no need to call the insects. So why should the flower be very large? Why should the flower become showy or beautiful? There is no need of that. So that is why such kind of flowers are not showy and large. So that is one advantage the plant does not need much energy to make its flower look large or beautiful or something. And one more same point already, because to attract the insect, why the insect is coming is to get something. What is that? That is the food called as the nectar. Nectar is having a pleasant smell. Flowers are having a fragrance. Certain significant smell is there. That is because of the sweet smelling liquid called as nectar that is there. And because of that, butterfly, bees and all these insects are sitting on the flower. But here insects are not required, so no need to prepare this nectar also, because there is no need of transferring the pollen grains to other flowers. This flower is sufficient enough to pollinate itself. So nectar is also not to be produced. So again energy is saved for this plant to, because it does not has to prepare any nectar. So these are certain points. Surety of pollination to take place. Parental characters are preserved. Same parental properties will be there. No wastage of pollen grains. No need of large and showy flowers, and no need to prepare the nectar. These are all advantages of the self pollination to take place. And ultimately what is happening, this is meaning a great economy, means a large amount of energy of the plant is saved in this process, because nectar and scent and large petals etc. are not required. Let us come to the disadvantages now. As I told you, the parental characters are preserved, they are not changing. Because of this, one problem will come. What is the problem? Generation and after generation, same type of plant is coming, but the nature is changing. Evolution is going on always. Nature is becoming tougher and tougher, and ultimately what will happen? It will lead to the weakening of the particular plant species where pollination is self-pollination, because there is no variation coming according to the changing times, according to the changing situation or changing climatic conditions or something else. Maybe they are related to natural factors. So as a result, what will happen? That the species will become weak, and ultimately there is a risk that particular species may become extinct also in the long term. So the seeds which are produced, they are poor in quality, and as a result there is weakening of the variety of species. Same point repeated again, that is the defective characters are not eliminated. If there is a disease in a plant species, that will continue, because self pollination is going on. The same disease will continue in the coming generations also. The disease I have taken as an example, it can be any other defective character also. Next, third point is, that is, it does not yield new varieties. Already we have discussed, same variety parental properties are repeated. As a result, new varieties will not come. The genetic properties of the same plant do not change. There is no change in the genetic properties because of lack of variation. So therefore there is a little chance for improvement in the next generation. All generations of the flower or the plant are same, no changes there. So that is all we have completed up to the self-pollination, various aspects. We started with the introduction of pollination, types of pollination, various scenario of pollination we have seen. In the upcoming video, we'll continue from the cross-pollination and its advantages and disadvantages. So that is all for today. We'll wind up for now. Thank you.